In this video, I will show you how I built an n8n system that books appointments on Autopilot with a human in the loop. So we'll be using n8n, Smart Lead, and Supabase. So what we are trying to fix with this workflow is that people get really excited when they get their cold emailing replies. And when you are using the system that we are using, you are guaranteed to get positive replies. If you've never seen it work before, this is this system here, which enriches the data and then creates perfect emails. So the emails that are highly personalized and designed specifically for that person. So the reply rate is really high. It's a bit like Clay, but a lot cheaper, and you can actually add as many modules as you want. So really powerful stuff. Anyway, let's get back to the human in the loop appointment booking workflow. So people are getting really excited, and then they don't know what to say, or they drop the ball, or they reply too late. And often the replies are not so good. So the cold emailing game really starts when you are actually getting that positive reply. You need to make sure that you book an appointment, and this is what this system does. So here is what we are doing. We are building a system that responds to email 24/7 with personalized replies. And we also make sure that you maintain complete control with a human in the loop approval process. We use n8n Smart Lead Supabase to create really powerful workflows, and we also make sure that no lead goes cold while also maintaining quality and the human touch. So the result, basically, once you have the process up and running, you get an email like that each time a positive reply landed in your master inbox. There is this workflow that's been triggered, which creates this reply, which you can approve, and then it gets sent via the master inbox in Smart Lead or decline, and you can reply manually. So the process works because we actually have templated email replies and information about the company and objection handling inside the knowledge base. We put that knowledge base inside the Supabase vector store, and then we use that and the context of the email that we've sent and the reply to create high quality responses that are actually booking appointments. Now I'm going to show you how this is built. First of all, you need to make sure that you have Smart Lead set up properly. So to do that, you need to go inside your profile, and then your profile, and then here you will find the Smart Lead API key. So that's really important. You need to save that. And then here as the next step, you will want to click on Webhook, and this is going to be empty. So you need to click on Add a new webhook. And then here you just rename your webhook, and then here we'll paste the webhook URL. Here we use the association type at account level, but you can also do it at campaign level if you want to be really specific about the replies that are being created. And here the event type. So we use all those event types because we actually tag those leads inside Go High Level as well. But here what we are really interested in is email reply and interested. So next I'm going to show you how to import the knowledge base inside the vector store database. That's really important. That can be a little bit painful if you've never done it before, but I'll just show you how to do that. First of all, you will need a workflow like this one. This one runs manually, but we could also run it automatically when a new file is uploaded inside the Google Drive folder. It triggers and then adds this file inside the vector store. So now I'm going to break down this workflow so that you understand what's happening. I'll actually run it so that you can see it working. Here you see inside the knowledge base we have 5 documents, and we want those documents to be pushed inside the vector store database just like that. So to do that, we need to make sure that we have a vector store database created. All you need to do is to add a vector store node and then click on docs. And here you will see that there is a quick start guide. So basically you just click on this quick start guide and copy the code that's been provided. You will need to make a couple of tweaks in there. So I recommend to use ChatGPT for that. So you just copy everything, and then you will request ChatGPT to basically modify the name of your vector store database and modify the name of the function. Otherwise, you end up having an account per database, and this is not really necessary. You can have a specific database, you can have a specific table and a specific function, but you need to make sure that you use the right query name to get that function. So here, as you can see, the query name is match documents underscore aka, and this is what would get modified here, basically, in the function. So you don't want to be doing that manually. As I've said, just put it inside ChatGPT and ask to modify the name of the database and the name of the function. Just make sure that you keep the name of the function because we will reuse it after. So that's the process, really straightforward. So once you have the code, you need to go inside the SQL editor, just paste it in here and run it. A couple of things to pay attention to. Here you'll see that we have embedding, and here we are using embedding small. So whenever you are using embedding small inside the vector store database, you also need to make sure that you are using it as such, so either big or small inside the workflow that uses that vector store. Otherwise, it doesn't work. You need three things. You need the database, you need the function, and you need to make sure you remember which model you are using for the embedding. And that's basically it. So next I'm going to break down the actual workflow. So here this is loading all files within a specific folder. So here I return all, no specific queries or anything. I just return everything inside that folder. Just a quick note that everything is in text here. It makes it a lot easier to have the data converted before you actually put it inside Google Drive. So to do that, you can use a file converter if you have PDFs, or you can just copy and paste and export it in text. It makes the process a lot more straightforward. Next, we have a loop item. So basically here, if we wouldn't have this loop item, it would process all those 5 files all in one go, and this would break because sometimes we have really large files, so we process them one at a time. We just set the file ID, and then here we check if any of the rows contain the file ID in the metadata. If it does, we delete it because we just want fresh data. Next, here you can see that we had 35 items matching that specific file ID. So if we wouldn't have this aggregate node here, it would process that 35 times. So here we need to aggregate, and we do that using the file ID. So basically we have 5 items here, 5 items there. We download the file onto the n8n instance. Next, we extract the text, so based on the binary data field, and then we break it down into pieces and upload it inside the vector store database. So break it down into pieces is basically just that. Recursive character text splitter, and the chunk size is 2000. So here, as you can see, everything is broken down. And if you look inside the vector store database, everything is broken down into pieces as well. That's basically how it works. Next, I'm going to show you how to create those replies. And so what makes SmartLead and especially the API really interesting is that we can use the master inbox so that the reply is coming out from the same inbox and the same email thread so that it doesn't look weird. So here you need to make sure that you have the event type email reply selected, and that the lead category interested is selected as well. And then next I'm going to show you how you can import a workflow inside n8n. So basically when you're inside the community, you will click onto the template. It will be downloaded as a JSON file onto your computer. And then here you click those 3 dots and then import from file, then select the JSON that has been selected, that has been downloaded onto your computer. And here you will see a webhook. webhook. So that you need to delete it and replace it with your own webhook. So I'm going to choose another one here. And that's going to be a post request. I'm going to link that to the first node. And then here I'm going to select the test URL. So I'm going to copy this, and then you need to go inside Smart Lead and paste it where it says webhook URL, and then select one event for testing. Click that, and then you will see that the data will come through. Don't forget to listen for test event, otherwise this is not going to work. So as soon as you have the data, you will need to use the production URL. So just select that one, and then head back over inside Smart Lead and webhook URL, replace it by the production URL and update it. Next, we are going to map the data and actually create the reply. So I'm going to use a workflow that has already run, and that's already running, so that you can see the process and you can see it actually being executed. So here we are tagging the lead inside Go High Level, because that's what we use to trigger those workflows. So whenever reply is positive, we use the sentiment analysis. So this is a bit of an overkill because this has already been done inside Smart Lead, but I like to double check. So here you'll see we've sent this. So this is coming from the webhook, and that's the message body in a HTML format. This is not a problem. The reply is, and that's reply from the lead, which is apparently interested. And here we double check. You need to analyze the answer if it is positive, negative, or neutral. If this person needs more info, it is positive. So when it's positive, we make a call inside the Superbase vector store database. So again, we use the context, and then we have a very simple prompt: get the most accurate reply content from the knowledge base. And here the answer is basically a list of rows classified by score. So the score is the relevance based on what we've asked previously. So here we have a filter. So basically, if the reply is accurate, we check that by making sure that this is greater than 0.4. If that's the case, we just aggregate all the answers. Otherwise, this is going to run 4 times, or this is going to run as many times as there are items. So we just combine all those items into one. And then here as the next step, we also provide the context. We provide whatever we have from the knowledge base. So it can be replies about the company, it could be objection handling, it could be templated replies, and so on and so forth. And then here we ask the system to create a reply. We make sure that we extract only the reply, because we are not interested in here is your email reply or whatever is going to be before or after the actual content. So we just make sure that we extract the email content. And then here, that's where it gets really interesting. We use a human in the loop node. So we are using Gmail. We get the reply content, and then we just verify that this is correct. And if that's the case, you just have to click one button to approve it or another button to decline it. So you could also just leave it as approve only, but that means you'll have a lot of workflows that are being left hanging, and I'm not like that. So I either approve it or disapprove it. And then here as the next step, when this is approved, and only when this is approved, this is going through the HTTP request, which is basically sending the reply inside the Smart Lead master inbox. And here, as you can see, the format is a bit specific. So you need to make sure that this is in HTML and that there is no line breaks or no spaces that are going to break your JSON. So again, if you're part of the community, you can just copy and paste that. Otherwise, you can just pause and type it or make a screenshot or whatever you like to do. So that's basically the process. So this allows to be much faster when replying. It also improves quality a lot because as you will see here, the knowledge base is pretty thorough. So it handles objections, it handles the different replies and different contexts. I hope this video was useful. If you're not part of the community, you can just click below and join. We'll be happy to see you in there. Bye bye.